Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 17th day of Shevat, and we begin a new chapter in Tanya, chapter 25, Perek Chav Hey. Quick overview. Having previously shown how the belief in Hashem's oneness is the center of all observance of Torah and mitzvahs, and that the desire to retain that bond lies in the essence of one's soul, one is indeed in full control and has the power to overcome foolishness of the evil inclination and be victorious over the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, serving Hashem with love and awe. Indeed, it is taka near to you to be able to do that. Today's lesson, it's within every person's power to arouse at any moment their love and their fear, their ava and yiras Hashem, and to control their evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara. So sometimes you feel like it's impossible. I can't. You feel like you're stuck every single day. It's the same struggle. No, Alter Rebbe is going to give you the tools to overcome the Yetzer Hara. In this chapter, the Alter Rebbe concludes the discussion which began in chapter 18. Here he began the verse, this thing is very near to you. We're talking about, of course, the love of Hashem and fear of Hashem, that you could do it. But it seems contrary to our daily experience. And in answer, the Alter Rebbe states that it's indeed an easy matter. We just have to create these feelings. We already have them. We have Avos Hashem, Yiras Hashem, but we have to work on them. And then he went on to explain in chapters 18 and 19 the nature and the essence of this love and this fear. And he talked about the soul with its power of faith in Hashem, by which the soul attaches to Hashem, intrinsically desires to cleave to its source. Now, in the following chapters, Alter Rebbe explains, from 19 to 25, he explained that all the mitzvahs are an affirmation of Hashem's unity, which means that everything exists within one Hashem. And a Jew, when we do the mitzvahs and when we learn Torah, a Jew should always observe the mitzvahs and would never sin, by very nature. If not for what? The spirit of folly, this ruach shtos. So it's kind of, as we mentioned yesterday, it's kind of a back and forth. On the one hand, if we do an Aveira, we're worse than the worst. We're the lowest of the low. We're from the Klippa and Sidrach, or worse than the tiniest bug. On the other hand, the Alter Rebbe says clearly a person would never do an Aveira if not for this spirit of folly that enters a person's mind. So he says all we have to do is think about how low we would be if we do it and we wouldn't succumb to this spirit of folly that tries to push us into the wrong lane and get us to do Averos, get us to sin. In this chapter, the Alter Rebbe concludes the discussion, stating that every Jew at any time is able to push away the Yetzer Hara. And this is the meaning, he says, of the pasuk, for this thing is very near to you, to observe the Torah and the mitzvahs out of love and fear of Hashem. At any time, yes, it might be hard, yes, it might be challenging, but at any time a person can rid himself of the spirit of folly, which allows him, which pushes him into this feeling of insensitivity, which causes a separation between him and Hashem, chas v'shalom, and makes him forget that he has a love of Hashem, by virtue of which he desires to unite with Hashem through the fulfillment of the mitzvahs. So it makes him forget. He's able to push that off. And what does he do instead? He's able to remember and to arouse this love of Hashem that he has. Person has in his heart the love for Hashem no matter what. Even the most hardened sinner, even the person that went the furthest away from Hashem, you would think that guy, he grew up in the community. What happened to him? He's so far away. Even he can turn the corner and once again love Hashem. This is the meaning of in your heart. No matter how far away, you still have a love for Hashem in your heart. Yeah, love of Hashem is not enough. I saw this thing yesterday by David Nesanoff. He's a rabbi. He's a speaker. He wrote a book. He's an author. You may have heard of him, David Nesanoff. Reuven, you heard of David Nesanoff, right? Anyway, he says he doesn't like this thing about Jewish pride. Jewish pride. It's all about Jewish pride. He goes, if it's just about Jewish pride, where's the mitzvahs? Where's the tachlis? Where's the action? It has to be about Jewish action, not Jewish pride. Jewish pride is nice. Yeah, we'll go march, we'll wave a flag. But Jewish action is putting on tefillin when you don't want to, getting up, learning Torah when you're tired, doing a mitzvah, lighting Shabbos, making sure that, women are lighting Shabbos candles at the proper time. Jewish action is much more important. And he said he learned that from the Rebbe. So this love that every Yid has, that will push him. He says, love itself is not good enough. The love has to translate to action, to mitzvahs. Love carries with it also fear, the dread of being separated from Hashem in any way, even to the extent that a person would be willing to sacrifice his life for Hashem. And we see that Yidden that are even what we call weit from Yiddishkeit, like anti-Judaism, sometimes are willing to give up their lives al Kiddush Hashem. Belishum tam v'seichol musag ela b'teva aliki. And they do that without any reason or logic, but purely out of one's divine nature, but the fact that they have a love and fear of Hashem embedded in their heart. So imagine you're willing to give up your life. Certainly, you'd be willing to give up your desires, your lusts, your jealousies, your angers, the things that get between you and Hashem and your mission. Since this entails much, it's certainly easier to give up your desires than to give up your life, no? They're both in the category of turning away from evil. And also in the category of doing good. Refraining from sin should lead you to doing positive mitzvahs. Even a simple avera, a transgression, should not allow you to, person should not allow himself to fall into transgressing against Hashem, even a simple mitzvah d'Rabbanan. He's going to start with a simple thing. And that simple thing, you think, it's no big deal. It's a tiny little thing. What if you come to the realization that that would be the same thing as actual idolatry? You would never do it. So just like you would hold yourself back from serving idols, avodah zarah, so too a person should hold himself back even from the smallest, what he feels like is the most minor sin. Even when it comes to avodah zarah, he could do tshuva. Still alive, he still has breath in him, but nevertheless, a Jew would never do such a thing. He'd rather give up his life. Here in parentheses it says, the Talmud says a person can't do a sin and then say, do tshuva after. That's not good enough. That's not good. He fell victim. He fell victim to the Yetzer Hara and he does a sin. No matter what the sin, he could ask Hashem for forgiveness. But he can't say, I'm going to do the sin because Hashem will forgive me later. And Hashem mafsikim yadali yesloi shas hakoisher lasis tshuva. Nothing stands in the way of tshuva. So even in the case of idol worship, if a person fell victim to the Yetzer Hara or peer pressure, whatever the case may be, he could still do tshuva. Nevertheless, every Yid is prepared and ready to give up his life for the sanctification of God's name. Nobody's going to voluntarily do something so egregious as idolatry, to bow down before an idol, even temporarily. where he'll think, oh, later I could still do tshuva. He's not going to do that. Why? This is because the neshama, the divine soul, the light which is in the divine soul, as explained above, which does not come within the realm of time at all. It's above time and space. And therefore, in relation to this light, every action is eternal. And furthermore, as is known, that the divine light of Hashem rules and dominates time. Not only is it not governed by laws of time, but on the contrary, it governs time. So thus an action which took but a moment and judged by temporal standards has no value, can become more momentous than one which takes longer. Then since the divine light clothed in the neshama and the soul transcends and dominates time, it does not permit any separation from Hashem, no matter how short its duration. Okay, we're stopping here for today, but we're continuing in chapter 25 tomorrow. Basically, the Alter Rebbe is telling us that we have the ability, the potential, and the wherewithal within inside of our souls and within inside of the essence of our being to stop the Yetzer Hara in its tracks. If we could do it for idol worship, we could do it even for the smaller things that we sometimes feel, it's insignificant. I'll just do tshuva after. The takeaway for today is there's no temptations which we cannot rise above. We could. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's a struggle. That's our avodah. At every moment of time, we have the power to say, I will not be fooled by transgressing Hashem's will. This transgression will separate me from Hashem, and I will not allow for it. We push the Yetzer Hara away with two hands, and we, instead of wallowing in that moment of pushing him away, we immediately turn and focus our attention to Aseh Toiv, doing good, and by fulfilling mitzvahs, we come closer to Hashem, and we leave the Yetzer Hara in the rearview mirror. All right, that's it for today, Chavra. Have a wonderful, amazing, incredible day.